Okay. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Alright, I gotta put on here that I don't own the rights to this music. Hold up right quick. I need to put that on here. Hold up, I just wait until I can comment. But peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. I cannot see if anybody is on here right now. But this is about Sagittarius season, and it's a lot of different things going on currently in the stars. And so I want to go ahead and get into that. I hadn't went live in a while. And so Scorpio season had a hold on me. And so I was like, let me get through my own shadow work and a lot of personal stuff I had going on before I can start going live and like doing my videos regularly like I was before. So Sagittarius season is here. We are at a Scorpio season. However, Mars is still in Scorpio. And so a lot of people's actions and things, a lot of our heads have been in more so than out. However, Sagittarius season is telling us to look out. So I'm going to get into a lot of different aspects and a lot of different things that's taking place. Even if a lot of people are not all the way educated through astrology, it's a lot of things you can still learn about yourself, and it's a lot of things you can still measure. It's pretty much like I always say, your spiritual weather. And you want to always know what time it is when it comes to your life. So that goes back to being a master of your life and always just really being ahead of the game. And so there's always a higher power, praise Allah. However, being the master and being in control of your vehicle, your body, even though you can't control what's going on in other people's vehicles or how they operate. And so that's why self-control and being aware of self and even having your map will get you where you're going a whole lot quicker. So peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. I cannot see any, I don't know why it's like completely blank. It usually lets me know who's on here. Or like, I don't know if anybody has commented or anything, but this is different. I haven't went live in a while, so I don't know if they are doing it different. But peace and love, y'all. Peace and love. But Sagittarius season, this is trining, and this is still a good time for other fire signs. Aries, Leos, you can still utilize this season, and you can also use this as preparation for the next seasons. So you can always use another 1 month or one season for other times or other traits that you have in your chart and other times coming up in your chart. So it's a lot of different events that you can prepare for in different times. Right now, Sagittarius season is about preparation. And for some people, this is the finish line. For some people, this is the destination. Sagittarius deals with publishing. So it's talking about people who are trying to take their show on the road, people who are completing the mission for some people. So if you write or if you do music, if you are an artist, anything like that, this is an excellent time to utilize a lot of things that the universe can provide for you this time right now, especially using all this fire. So that's why I say it trines wherever you have Aries in your chart and also wherever you have Leo, or this will be excellent for what you have in your 5th house. Also your 1st house and what you have in your 9th house. And so you want to utilize that depending on what you have as your ascendant and everything. This is a really, really good time for this. So I had some music playing, but I didn't put in, I don't own the rights to this music, so I might cut the music back on, but I was in here jamming. So peace and love, y'all, though. Peace and love. Let me see. Cece, Larisha. Okay, I see a couple of names. How y'all doing? Hoping everybody is okay. Sagittarius season is here. This is really good for everybody to like go big or go home. Peace and love. Peace and love, Monet. Peace and love, Shanta. Peace and love, y'all. Peace and love. Yes. So we stretching, and I always say spiritually, these are your spiritual muscles that we're stretching. So we're going places we've never been, and we are being very adventurous right now. Peace and love, y'all. Okay, like I said last time, maybe everything is delayed because I'm starting to see people's comments now. Peace and love. I love y'all too. Man, thank y'all for joining me. I thank y'all because there's so many other people who do the same thing and really good at what they do. And I haven't been on the forefront like I used to, but I've just kind of had to be in the back a little bit because you know, everybody has to get aligned. And my alignment in the past month was being behind the scenes and more so my personal life, my family. So I follow my chart. So a lot of times Scorpio season, I'm cutting back just a little bit. But now I'm back in Sagittarius season. It helps me to look out and it trines my Leo. And so now I can show up. So peace and love, y'all. Peace and love. And I am about to start like rebooting my YouTube channel. I hadn't really been utilizing it. I really been on TikTok more and I've been on Bigo more. So I've been cheating on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. I have been using other platforms, but Facebook, I always say, is my, you know, my home. This is where I started when I hadn't been on social media in years, and I was in my spiritual journey where I had cut off, you know, all types of social media and everything for a couple of years, and I got back on. Facebook was first place I went when I started sharing my information. That was back in like 2015. And so this is like my home place where I go, especially when it goes to going live. And this is also where I've met some of the most amazing people. And this is also the home base of my clients, my clientele have come from Facebook. So I'm always going to be loyal to Facebook. But all is well. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's a glow around my throat chakra. Well, I appreciate that. And you know what? Thank you. I want to get into this. There's a lot of emphasis on all of our throat chakra and our solar plexus chakra. All this season is as Sagittarius season. But I want to speak on that really quick with my throat chakra energy. I realized in a lot of my shadow work, my throat chakra was closed. Even though I talk a lot, I wasn't talking about much. So for me, as being a Gemini, is having substance to my words and learning how to take my time. And I have said in another video, which I'm going to say in this video today, a lot of us don't even know what our voice even really sounds like, because a lot of us have spent a lot of time yelling and screaming and being parts of drama and really still releasing our trauma and always being upset and provoked. So a lot of us don't even know how lovely our voice really sounds. And it doesn't even have to be a singing voice like our speaking voice. Some of us have amazing speaking voices, but it's always sounding scared or trembly, or it's always something caught there where we don't get to express ourselves. For a very long time, for one, I've always been told I had a very raspy voice, which I always say I hated my voice. And so I got out of that, but then I always was talking very loud for a long time. I was talking very loud, and I used to interrupt people when I was talking, when they were talking. So a lot of people didn't like talking to me because I know a lot of things and I share a lot of information, but I used to come off as a know-it-all. So a lot of people, I used to wonder why I would attract people, but they wouldn't stick around, and I would talk too much. I talk too much, okay? And so I appreciate that. And also sometimes spending time giving information or sharing things and being very open with the wrong people had me being quiet at the wrong times. So I was around sometimes the wrong people, and I wouldn't open up. And at the time, like years ago, I didn't know what an empath was. I didn't know I was an empath. I didn't even know I was absorbing energy. And so I would just be very like silly and open around certain people, and then I would get around other people and I would just be looking. And then I already have big eyes. Y'all, and people would be very offended because my eyes are big, and if I'm not smiling, I don't know why I'm made like this. I'm just set up like this. If I'm smiling, I look very happy, I look very warm, but when I'm not smiling and because my eyes are big, people are like, they look scary, or it's like intimidating, or something about my eyes kind of throws people off if I'm not smiling or making some type of expression with my face, because I'm just all eyes. And so I learned a whole lot about myself, my face expressions and all of those things, and why certain people would come towards me and some people wouldn't talk to me. And it's all about, what they call the resting bitch face. Was not aware of it. So that's a thing. But learning to love my voice has been a thing for me, because I used to think I sounded like a dude. I used to think my voice was extra low. I sounded like a man. I used to think when I sang, because I'm like alto, and I can even sing tenor, I used to be like, dang, I can only sing like, the guys in the men groups, like Drew Hill, Jodeci, like I can really hit those notes, but I couldn't do a high note. So I used to really think something was like wrong with me. I say that to say I just really appreciate you saying that. I am in a way more peaceful place than I realized I was in like months ago. And so when I look back at some of my videos on my YouTube channel and things like that, I wasn't in the same place. And so you do have to learn how to take your time. And nervousness, anxiety, all those things is something I have struggled with for a very long time. So that's why another reason why I used to talk very fast all the time. ADHD, okay, I very much have it. And so learning about myself and all of those things, you get what I'm saying? And I ain't even gonna lie, I straddled the fence a little bit with Asperger's, okay? So my son has autism, and so I struggle on that a little bit as well. So I realize a lot of things about myself, how I communicate. And so, you know when people say you talk like a car salesman, the people that talk very fast are always trying to convince you of something. I'm not saying that's ever what I was trying to do. That's never been my intent. But I realized how I came off that way. And so doing the type of work I do, you can't be talking fast. You can't be making somebody feel like you're trying to work them. And even though I have a lot of information to share, I realized that I was coming, it can come off manipulative, and it can sound like you're trying to sell somebody a car. And I realized I used to feel like that even when I was younger, going to church, different churches, not necessarily the church I went to, but just going to different churches. In my association with church, I used to have this negative feeling towards a pastor or somebody that's trying to talk fast, and it seemed like their whole aim was trying to get money, even though that's their gift, even if they are very divine, even if that's what they were supposed to be doing. And they still have bills too, but it's just the whole way you convey a message. And so I'm learning that about myself, and so it's a whole lot of things I have to learn. And so thank you for that. I appreciate that, because I just haven't always appreciated the sound of my own voice. I did not know that so many people was attracted to my voice until I got older. So now when I do videos and stuff, so many people are like, oh, I love the sound of your voice. And I'm like, my cracky, old, croaky, raspy voice. I'm like, okay, thank you. So I take that and thank you. Thank you for that. And I struggled with for a very long time, because this goes back to Sagittarius season, expressing yourself, using your words. Being from the South, and when I went to college, I was told for a very long time that it was a couple of professors who told me that they thought I was smart, they thought I was intelligent, but they didn't think I was going to go that far because I sounded like I was from the South, and that my Southern drawl made me sound ignorant. So that's another thing that put a blockage on my voice for a very long time, trying to speak properly and trying not to sound like I was from the South all the time. At the end of the day, that's where I'm from. At the end of the day, I'm still going to articulate myself, and a lot of people still enjoy the way I speak, and a lot of people still understand what I'm saying. And so, you know what I mean? It's a whole lot of things you got to get past. Now, everything that I'm saying to y'all right now is my shadow work. My personal shadow work all this month is communicating and being vulnerable. And I don't always show my vulnerabilities. A lot of people always see me in a powerful position of reading your chart and telling you about yourself and being aware of things you weren't aware of about yourself. It's a lot of things about myself that I can share with people. And so I just feel like this is a time to do that. This is my shadow work, and doing it in front of other people, because I always say you never know what you are unlocking for somebody else. And so you can be the key to somebody else. You never know what your gift is. Something you say, what you do can move somebody else and unlock somebody else. And it is your responsibility and your duty to do that. This is what being here is all about, inspiring other people. All is well. I am from North Carolina. I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. I'm from Greensboro. And so it's crazy too, because I grew up in the hood. Oddly enough, when I was in the hood younger, everybody said, all the kids in the hood said I talked white. Everybody said I talked white, and they called me white girl. But oddly enough, when I went to college, all my college professors said I sounded Southern. I sounded ignorant. I sounded like I was, running through the fields. And so that's why I struggled with, well, damn, do I talk white in my country? Forget it. I'm just going to talk how I talk. I'm raspy, I'm proper, and I'm Southern. That's just what it's going to be. And so, you just got to learn how to love on yourself a whole lot more. And so I want to love on my voice a little bit more, and I don't have to be too excited because I grew up in a house of 5 children. So all of us trying to get attention from my mom at different times. I was dramatic, just loud, just always wanting to make sure I was being seen, and not realizing I don't have to be that loud to be seen, to be heard, to do any of those things. And that's even just learning my feminine energy. And I still very much hold on to and embrace my masculinity very much. However, I wasn't taught to talk the talk and walk the walk of my femininity, and I do get my way a whole lot more calm, subdued, seductive, so all is well. But Sagittarius season is about this: looking out, speaking out, having confidence at your solar plexus chakra, being able to laugh, move energy at your solar plexus chakra. I'm sorry, that's my son. Can you please get out my shot? But at your solar plexus chakra, the ability to laugh, the ability to express, the ability to be the drama and be okay with it, and moving that energy up, because you have to move it past your heart chakra. You have to move it past and get to your throat chakra to even get out what's going on down here. And that's why I say it's okay to even yell, to cuss, to cry, to do all of those things. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Anthony, can you please cut that down? Yeah, I have teenagers in there on that game. And so, but yelling, cussing, screaming, all of that, what you want to do is move everything that's down here up and out. And so, singing, even, all of those things. And this is what Sagittarius season is doing. It's going to help us look out more, because Scorpio season had us looking in. Scorpio season had us looking in, deep within. Scorpio season had us all sleeping a little bit more, resting a little bit more, reflecting a little bit more. And Scorpio season also was giving us the ability to transmute energy. So a lot of people during Scorpio season may have been getting triggers, because that's what Scorpio season does. It triggers you. And in the shadow work of Scorpio season was, how secure are you? Did you lock the doors to your spirit so nothing else that's not supposed to be there gets in? And anything that's supposed to get in knows the password. And if you are divine and you are aligned, then you know the password, and then nothing else is supposed to be in your space. And so when we are not aligned, this is when things, people, circumstances get into our space that did not ask permission. Okay? And so this is why we always have to every rising, and you have to think Sagittarius season, so we rising in Sagittarius and we going down, okay, in Sagittarius all this month. Well, this month, this is the 30th for the next, 30 degrees the next 30 days. Peace and love, Jermaine. Peace and love. And I got you on that music, Man, we got some things. I got some things in the mix, you guys. I got some things moving, okay? Trying to be a spiritual thug out here, so yeah, you get to really get everything off your chest. Sagittarius can have a temper, but Sagittarius can also have a smart mouth. But the thing is, Sagittarius is better out than in, is with Sagittarius. So this is why they just always got something to say, or they have a slick mouth. But it's better out than in, because if they hold it in, somebody gonna get hurt, and a lot of times it's gonna hurt them. And so that's why it's like, I always say, expressing yourself is like a fart. Get it out. Say, excuse me, pardon yourself by all means. But when something needs to be said and something on your chest, you better get it off ya. Okay? You better get it off ya. And so, peace and love, Monte. Peace and love, Monet. Peace and love, everybody. Yeah, shout out to the spiritual thugs. Spiritual thugs, where you can still be divine, aligned, and still cuss somebody out if you have to, okay? Because the lower self is there for a reason, which is why in times where you're trying to be peaceful and something inside of you is about to burst, that is your lower self saying, get over. Let me handle this. That's what your lower self is there for, okay? Your lower self is to protect the vehicle. Your lower self is the alarm to your vehicle. Your lower self says, there's a stranger near our shit, okay? Your lower self says, or I've seen this before. So your lower self, that's why I say, grabs the gun. Your lower self know how to fight, okay? Your higher self is always saying, hey, how do I get out of this alive? And how do I make sure that there are safe circumstances for the other party as well? Because God is always at work as well. However, in lower self, you still want to still say whatever you need to say so you can align yourself. If you never let the things out that need to be out in lower self, this is your shadow work. You have to learn how to let things out when they're supposed to be out. And that's why different signs, different seasons, different times, different reasons. Okay, Sagittarius season, I'm letting it out because Scorpio season was holding it in, breaking it down, and recycling what we have been through. So this is why the transmutation of energy is the recycling of energy. I'm taking something that was supposed to be bullshit and I'm going to compress it and turn it into a diamond ring. This is what the transmutation of energy is. The transmutation of energy is you meant to send that to me, however you didn't know what type of work I do. Okay, and so you can really rebuild something and take something and restructure it. Things that are meant to destroy you, which is why Scorpio is such a powerful sign. Now, Scorpio takes everything, condenses it, and makes it small. Scorpio is our toilet. Scorpio is our trash can. Scorpio takes the trash out. Scorpio is also our, let's call it the graveyard. Okay, this is where we throw out the body, or we call it the trunk of our vehicle. So if this is your vehicle, Scorpio is the trunk. All right, if this is your house, Scorpio is the basement. All right, if this is your body, this still goes back to, this is your lower, below your waist, this is your genitals, and this is also going back to your anal, your anus, and all of those things, right? So still goes back to where you release and take things out. Okay, now we're at Sagittarius season. Okay, so now that we've taken out the trash, we've been triggered, some things been tinkering around in the trunk. Scorpio season, we let the trunk open, we let those things out, we've released those things, we done looked under the bed of our life, the boogeyman done came out, boo, it has scared you, it's over now, right? Sagittarius says, take everything that's left and let's make it bigger, all right? Let's expand on what you have left. And so Sagittarius says, now let's see the bigger picture with everything that has been left over. Those uncomfortable conversations with our families, those uncomfortable things that happen at work, those things that you caught your children doing, all those things, we have to face those things. All those triggers that came up, those memories, those things you thought you forgot about, and those memories, those dreams you may have even had that might have finished the sentence of something you thought about 5 years ago. You might have been getting those answers. Okay, so Scorpio was giving us those revelations. Now Sagittarius says, contemplation. All right, now where's our destination? Okay, so Sagittarius says, now where you going to go now that you've done this? You done did the do, now you got to go. Okay, and so Sagittarius says, now you got to get on the highway. This is now our publishing. Now you got to know where you're going. Where's your map? Our map is in our group of people that we know. So all the networking you've done and all the people you've met since January of this year, a lot of these people very much have been bringing you your credit card, your luck and your abundance. Some of these people have been interrupting your credit card, your luck and your abundance. This month is the month to find out who. Okay? And this is the month to find out how much gas you have in your car and who's putting in for the next round of your life. Not everybody has gas money, so everybody can't go. And all right, and we cannot have emotions when we're dealing with this situation. All your emotions was for Scorpio season. Sagittarius is not dealing with your emotions. Sagittarius looks out. Sagittarius says it's time to go. Okay, and so just like everything is business, just like the city bus, if you miss it, you miss it. It don't matter how much you chase it, they on a schedule. All right, the planets are on a schedule. So this is why you have to be prepared and be ready now for the things that's happening in Sagittarius season. The moon the past couple of days hasn't been in Libra. So the moon in Libra is creating opportunities for the sun in Sagittarius. And I said that in the video yesterday. What that does is the people you dealt with, the contracts you had, any assistance you needed in the past couple of days have a whole lot to do with things the next couple of weeks, the things you want to manifest. So the people that you dealt with, business or personal, this is very vital for the rest of your month. And some of these people may have been deceptive. Some of these people may have not been, honest. Some of these people may not keep their word. And so that's why you need to know that. Your shadow work the past couple of days was being aware. This is where your Aries came in the past couple of days. Being able to know everything you need to know so that you can get through. You need to know who you're shaking hands with. You need to know who you putting a ring on. You need to know who the fine print of a contract you're about to sign. And that's why this is very important, because it's letting you know how far you're going to go the rest of this month, or if something is going to detour your plans. The detour to your plans could take you all the way back to point A. So that's why this is a time where people are literally or figuratively graduating right now. Okay, so some people might actually be in school. Sometimes for some people this is a spiritual graduation, a spiritual ascension. You are getting higher, you're getting further, you have gotten good grades all year. This is an amazing time to really see how big you really are. However, I always say to get big, you need to get small first. So in Sagittarius season, instead of getting big, I would trine your Sagittarius season with your Aries season. Prepare the things you want to do for next spring. Go ahead and prepare for those things right now. Okay, I gotta go in mama mode because you're gonna see why later. So I would say let this be planning mode, depending on where you have Sagittarius at in your chart. Peace and love, Riri. Peace and love. Peace and love, Brianna. Peace and love, everybody. Man, it's some names I haven't seen. Is it a retro? We ain't retro. I'm like, are we retrograding? Why are these some names I haven't seen in a long time? Wow, that's amazing. I hope y'all doing okay. Like, that's so fantastic. Because some of y'all, like, some of my clients only come like twice a year, once a year. They might just get one long reading, a 2-hour reading, or however. And so, you know, you don't want to be a creep. You don't want to read somebody's chart without them knowing. You don't want to be like all in somebody's chart. And so, like, when I go live and things like that, or when they comment on stuff, I be like, man, where you been? Like, that's like my family. I love y'all. Thank you, Riri. I'm for real. You need to like call me. Goodness gracious, man. I just be wanting to know how y'all doing. I feel like it's like a garden of people that I just be like watering and like nurturing, and so I just be wanting to see how much you've grown. Like, I want to see the flowers, you know, I want to see the fruit of the situation. So I love knowing how my clients are doing. It's a beautiful thing. But yeah, with that moon coming up, we have the new moon in Sagittarius. So that new moon in Sagittarius is going to show you where you either need a new plan or the universe is giving you the okay with what you're doing. So if you're planning on relocating, if you're talking about going out of town, if you're talking about taking something further with somebody that you might be dating, in the next couple of days, in the next few days, Sagittarius, that new moon is going to cut the lights on or off. Okay, and let you know this is what needs to be worked on in the next couple of weeks for that full moon in Gemini. Or it's saying, you know what, good job. You know what, keep going. And I always say the new moon is a surrender. Whatever's taking place and whatever feels like or seems like it's going wrong, surrender to it, submit to it. So this is a submission of it all. Why? Because you're not going to be able to see the moon, okay? And so this is why I'm saying I need to just have faith in what's taking place. And that's why I say whatever is going wrong or whatever could go wrong, normally it's going to be around your new moon. Whatever needs to be exposed or whatever that spot was that you could not see is in your full moon, which is when you have the most light. And so that's why I say surrender to the things that happen. Somebody let you down, somebody disappoint you, all those good things. Good things. Why? Because the alignment says that's good. You needed to know it. The shadow work for everybody is still going to be communication. It's still going to be how you say things. And Mercury is in Sagittarius right now. And so Mercury in Sagittarius is detrimental. Because Mercury in Virgo, of course, is your exaltation. Mercury in Pisces is your fall. So when Mercury is in Sagittarius, this can be detrimental. Right, let's go. Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. And it's a challenge and it opposes Sagittarius. So Mercury being in Sagittarius right now is a little bits and pieces of things having to go somewhere really, really big. So this can be very uncomfortable for some people where there's going to be a lot of things on social media, a lot of things you might start watching, different movies, things on Netflix, things that are shown to you that a lot of people are going to be uncomfortable with if they have a very narrow mind. And so this is a time right now where people's perceptions are changing. Perceptions are getting bigger. You are looking out of a different window, and that's okay. You might have been looking out of one window your whole life. A lot of people, if you grew up in the church, you grew up, you know, as a Christian, as a Catholic, or however, praise Allah, you know, all is well with that. The thing is, a lot of those same people are going outside of that, and they're learning about astrology, and they're learning about metaphysics, and they're learning about spirituality, praise Allah. And there's nothing wrong with that. And so a lot of people are going out of what their family has invested into, which is their religion. A lot of people's perceptions are changing. And so where their mind was once small is getting bigger. Where the window was very, very small at one point, and some people's family has been looking out the same window their whole life for generations. Now you have a lot of us in our newer generations that are open and changing the way we see things. And so this is why you'll see a shift and a lot of distance between you and your family members, people you were close with, people that you have traditions with, people you have, your culture with. And there's nothing wrong with keeping your culture, all right? That's a part of your core. So your culture, which brings the freedom, all of those things, how you do those things, all of that is a part of the Cancer part of your chart. You never want to let go of that because that is your square. However, how can we add on to our square? All right, how can we make our square bigger? Because this is how we really, really get to be a part of what's universal. There's a universal language, and that is breathing. If there is nothing else, you don't have to learn how to speak English. You don't have to speak Spanish. You don't have to do sign language. Can you breathe? And do you breathe properly? And do you feel safe around the people and in the environment that you breathe in? Because that is what is vital, and that is what's important about your spirituality. Sometimes the people in your family are not the same people you feel the most confident breathing around. You don't feel the most free around them. So that's why I always say family are people that you are related to, but those are not always the people that you relate to. And so you need people that you relate to because you're trying to feed the spirit. You're not trying to feed your flesh. Your spirit wants to be around people it feels comfortable around, because your spirit is what is going to operate your vehicle in the first place. Your body, your flesh is the vehicle. So when you're talking about your car, are you trying to keep the doors and all that? You want to keep everything together, but what's most important is the engine, true? Okay, it's a lot of different components to your vehicle, but you want to still, at the end of the day, have drive. True. You want to make sure that you have passengers in your vehicle that are not tearing up your vehicle, and you want to cruise and be in environments and in neighborhoods that's not taken away from your vehicle. True. You want to be in safe environments, and a lot of us don't know what our safety looks like, which once again, a lot of us don't even know what our real voice sounds like. Okay, and so like I said, I grew up in the hood. We done did a whole lot of ducking. It's been a whole lot of yelling. I done seen a whole lot, and so knowing what my quiet sounds like is very important to me as an adult, because I did not have that. I grew up in a house with four other children. It was 5 of us and my mom. So knowing what sound like my peace and quiet sounds like, I don't even have to have the TV on in my house. Like, my children are so at peace, they don't have to have those things, because I let them understand what peace really sounds like. When they say they're bored, I tell them that it's peace. They don't understand what peace really is, and so I try to show that to them. You don't know. You don't know. And so that's why I say that you start to value things more as an adult. Like, I wanted to go out and do a whole lot of different things, when I was younger. And praise Allah, my children just kept me from a whole lot, and so it just kept me from being involved in a whole lot of things. And so that's what goes back to our children raise us. Our children are our parents. If your parents ain't never do right by you, your children are going to keep you in line if you really view your relationship with your children the right way. But yeah, Jermaine, most definitely, do not park your car where they do carjacking. And that goes back to that. The misunderstandings that's going to happen in the shadows. If you don't have your head held high, as Sagittarius naturally do, especially if you have it in the first house, this month can tear you a new one, because there's going to be a lot of judgment. There's going to be frustration. There's arrogance and all those things coming your way, which is why your shadow work and communication is going to be very vital. How to move around when somebody's aiming for you and somebody's coming for you. And somebody is coming for you because it's Sagittarius season. What do? They aim the best. They have their bow and arrow. They always on it. Okay? When it's things they want, somebody that they want, or opportunity they want. All right, even when they want to hurt you. All right, Sagittarius is a very well thought out sign. Okay, and so when you're talking about the shooters of the zodiac, I always say Aries is your point blank shooter. Aries is just point blank to your face, to the head. Like, Aries smack you, they just hit you first, right? Leo shoot when you come to them, because it's a fixed sign. So Leo ain't so much gonna come to you. You get close enough, a Leo gonna snatch you up. It's a lion, right? Sagittarius, you don't have to come to them. They're not going to come to you. Sagittarius is your sniper. Sagittarius will get you from very far away. They don't move too fast. They don't do too much. Okay? And so that's why I say when you're dealing with a Sagittarius, mind you, they only 30 degrees away from Scorpio. That's their blind spot. So they know very, very good. They're very, very well about manipulation. They know very, very well how to lay down on their stomach. They know how to get their prey. Sagittarius is an excellent hunter. So when a Sagittarius man want to holler at you, a lot of times he's been watching you for months. And when a Sagittarius, you feel the fire of a Sagittarius, because like I say, they move like a Scorpio, but they like to be out in the open. Like, you might see where the shot came from at the end of the day, but you know, Scorpio is way more bottom on the stomach with it, because a Scorpio is like the silencer. See, a Scorpio can shoot you and you don't know where it came from. A Scorpio or a Pisces will shoot you and you just feel the shot. Sagittarius, you know where it came from. That you might even end up seeing who did it, but you ain't gonna catch it. And so all the signs move different. So that's why I say, if there's any friction, all right, because it's your shadow work is also what we call our bad karma. I don't necessarily like to say good karma, bad karma. Just whatever is. If you're honest with yourself, you always say no more. If you ain't honest with yourself, you're going to always be a victim. And when it comes to the zodiac, I want to say this really fast. When it comes to the zodiac, you are different times in your life, and you got to know which one you are, and you got to know fast. Whether you're the victim, whether you're the bully, or whether you're the hero of a situation. And all of us have played all parts. Okay? And so when situations happen, that's why people who are honest with themselves, with bad karma, they say no more. Because they know what the hell they did. They not mad at nobody when it come back around. Even when it's time to die. Like, somebody who know they done did a lot of things, they just they surrender. Say no more. Okay? But when you're not honest with yourself, you're going to always be a victim. Okay? And when you're not honest with yourself, you're going to always make yourself be a hero sometimes when you are actually the bully. Now, a narcissist, which is a very famous word right now, is going to play all three roles at the same time. A narcissist is going, which is what I call a demon, is going to be, the victim, the bully, and the hero. The narcissist is going to be the person who created the problem. Everybody blame them, and they're going to be the one that's going to fix it. So you got to watch out for people like that too. But anyway, what I was getting at is being honest with yourself wherever you are in your life right now, which role you're playing. Okay, and sometimes even when you're the victim, that doesn't mean you're playing victim. It's just being honest when you're in lower self. Wow, do I need help right now? Or lower self is another attitude, because lower self is either a victim attitude, or the lower self is you done did some fuck shit. Okay, the lower self is I've provoked or instigated a situation and I'm awaiting my results. The evil laugh. Like, that's lower self. The things that a lot of us have done or thought about doing, you got to be honest with yourself about all of that. I say all that to say, anytime you're feeling friction this month, communication is the name of the game. The universe is teaching you how to talk. The universe is saying, for one, have patience. And for two, your shadow work is, have you ever done this to somebody? If somebody, comes at you this month, and how do you respond when somebody does this to you? Okay? And so even if you've never been the culprit and the person who has inflicted that on somebody else, the universe is saying, well, how do you respond when somebody disrespects you, or when somebody is condescending, when somebody tries to make you feel small? Because that's what the Sagittarius energy can be in lower self this month. Or, like I say, if you're wondering why anybody is coming at you, coming for you, in your space, fucking with you, that goes back to your shadow work. Okay? And so now, like I say, the Sagittarius, they come long, they come hard, they come from way over there. So a lot of times anybody that, especially if they're close to you, is something they've been feeling for a very, very long time. So that's why I'm saying it's not out of nowhere. It's not out the blue. And especially with a Sagittarius are very nonchalant. That's why I say they're not very emotional in their feelings type of people. However, they do speak their truth. It might not be pretty, it may not be nice, it may not feel good, but damn it came out. Okay, and that's what a Sagittarius is, and you gotta know them to love them. I know a few Sagittarius that have really gotten under my skin. However, I'm a Gemini, so that's my opposing sign. I'm 180 degrees away from a Sagittarius. They're not always my favorite people, but there's also my very best alignment at the very same time. So I have some Sagittarius who have challenged me to be better and have made me a more awesome person. Can you be more awesome than I already was? I'm just playing. I wasn't playing. But Yeah, they kind of just added a little bit more seasoning to the already seasoned Yari that I am. And so Sagittarius are our teachers. Those are our preachers. That's why I say these are our optimistic people with a great outlook. And and so that's why I call them the nomad of the zodiac. They travel far and wide for their information, and they're willing to share it. They will go anywhere, which is why a lot of people, like I say, with Sagittarius ascendant, or if Venus is in Sagittarius, if they have Sagittarius in the 9th house, in the 5th house, a lot of times those people travel for a living. A lot of times those people drive or things like that, or they're a travel agent. And so a lot of those people are also very spiritual, right? Why? Because you got to have God with you everywhere you go, especially when you're traveling. Well, a lot of those Sagittarius already know that they are God. All right. This is why they have such a big personality and a big attitude about everything. And the optimism comes from they rule by Jupiter. Jupiter is a very big planet, so this is why they have really good credit. Let's just say that. Jupiter is the spiritual credit card. Sagittarius were born with the credit card in their hand. That's why things naturally just go in their favor. That's why Sagittarius is always buying the drinks. That's why Sagittarius is always paying for the trip. Sagittarius it doesn't matter when they're at their last $2, they've never seen their last $2, because Sagittarius either plan very well with their money, or like I say, the money just never, or their favor never really runs out. And so this is why it's good to have a Sagittarius in your life. Now, you're going to be cut down a little bit, because they will check you, correct you, hurt your feelings. But you're not going to leave them hungry mentally. You're not going to leave them hungry physically. And you're not going to leave them empty-handed. Okay? You're never, and that's just honestly just the Moorish way anyway. You're always going to leave with more than what you came when you deal with a Moor. And when I'm talking about Moors, it's just simply us. It's just simply us. And so Moors are always going to leave you with more than what you came with. That's just what we do. And that's why when I go live, I'll be like, I'm going to go live for 30 minutes. I'll be on here 45 minutes, an hour. But you know what? It does my heart good. It makes me feel good. People inbox me and tell me how much it meant to them. And that means the world to me. So I don't be meaning to spend so much time going live, but I don't go live as much as I used to. And so that's why another reason why I'm like, let me flow real quick, because I get so busy. I don't know when I'm going to be able to go live again. But so all is well, you guys. But yeah, preparation. Wherever you have a strategy, wherever you have already covered your plan Z. So this is how I talk to my children. Y'all are my babies. Your plan Z is thinking about the worst case scenario and putting a bow on it. When you can make peace with the plan Z of your life, with anything that you are a part of, you can go back to your happy self. You can go back to your laughing self. You can go back to the pleasures of life. So you never really have to worry about anything going wrong. Like I say, you can only control what happens in your vehicle. You can't control what happens in other people's vehicle, and you don't always know what's always going to take place outside your vehicle. That's why you only do what you can. Your plan Z is also your shadow work. What is my worst case scenario? How do I get myself out of a bag? All right. How do I get myself out of a bad situation? And so this is what the universe is saying. I need you to create a strategy for the worst case scenario, or something that could go wrong based off of your accomplishments or things you're trying to do, where you're trying to go, all of those things. Worst case scenario, which goes back to trining your Aries. What can you do by yourself? What can you do by yourself? Because if nobody else is around, you still got to be able to laugh. You still got to be able to love. You still got to be able to make do. And so this is why I say loving self is so important. Yes, having a partnership, all of that is very important. It's very, very vital, and it helps you multiply when we talk about the science of it all. However, you still have to understand that 1 times anything is always going to be 1. Meaning when you're by yourself, this is why the math of everything you're always going to come back to yourself. And so you do have to think about that. So you're going to multiply. I'm sorry, 1 times 1 is always going to be 1, my bad. And so any number that you multiply towards that number, you're always going to get that number back. You're going to always get back what you give, so even when you're by yourself. So that's why the division, the multiplication, the addition, and all of that is very vital. Sagittarius season is talking about multiplication. Sagittarius season, because of the fire sign, is talking about what we can get bigger, what we can multiply, and what we can get more off of. Sagittarius is it's also talking about the law of compensation. So this is what we're getting more of, okay? And so this is why you're getting a lot of something based off of the work that you put in. So that's why I say aim for something. And then I'm not saying that the worst case scenario is going to happen. Just think about the worst case scenario and make peace with it. So even if that happens, you're okay. But always go back to your plan A. Okay, go back to your plan A, and you may never see your plan Z, but plan A through Z is important because you still get to be happy throughout the rest of the show. Okay, and that's the whole point of these children's books and the cartoons and all that. And when they get lost and they have a mission and all that and they get sidetracked, the whole point is during that, what they do, they make friends, they learn new things along the way. That's literally what they're teaching us about life. You have a plan, you know where you're going. You're going to grandma's house. You're taking her some cookies. It's always something, right? You want to be a doctor. You want to be a lawyer. But things might detour your plans. So that's why I'm saying, hey, pack you a bag. And pack light. So you're leaving mama's and daddy's house when you get older. You packing some of the good things and the good memories and the great things. And you leaving all that bullshit that they gave you. Because you only have enough for your bliss. And you only have enough for beautiful things in your bag. And don't you bring nothing else in that bag. Right? And so that's why you're going to get sidetracked. You're going to meet new friends. There's going to be other things that take place as you're on your mission and on your trip. And before you get to your destination, sometimes the destination didn't really matter anymore. Because you realize the whole trip was what really mattered. Okay, and so that's what the whole plan Z is. Hey, if I never make it there, and if I do get there, and if the worst thing happens, once I get there, where is my bliss still with me? Is my peace still with me? Is my God still with me? It is. And so this what adds the color to your picture is your journey. So fantastic. And so all is well. Also, what was that? Venus is in Capricorn. It's telling us to commit and it's telling us to invest. So as far as money right now, I will only spend my money on things right now with that Venus in Capricorn, regardless of where it is, because you also want to pay attention to later. So things may change later. A lot of people might be losing their job and a lot of people might be losing their partner in the next 6 weeks or so. So this is why investing is important right now when Venus is in Capricorn. Only spend your money that's dealing with work. Only spend your money on something you can get back in taxes. Like literally, if it doesn't have something to do with work or something that's not going to be as resourceful to you and your family later, I would not spend a whole lot of money on things right now. And so I would say hold on tight to it. Venus is going to get in Aquarius. Things are going to change. And a lot of people are going to feel the effects of that. And it's not necessarily going to be fun with that Venus in Aquarius. So that's why I say hold on to your knickers right now. Hold on to your money. Right now, I would say ground yourself when it comes to your finances. Everybody. And so next, Mars is in Scorpio. This is powerful sex. This is powerful attention that you're giving somebody, powerful attention that you're giving a topic. So even if you're not involved with somebody, this is very deep involvement into a subject right now. A lot of people might really be, like I said, into astrology. A lot of people have been inboxing me and just asking me how to even have those conversations. They're asking me about Bible scriptures and things like that they can align so they can have these conversations with their family. I have a lot of scriptures, okay? God will never steer us wrong, okay? And so when we're talking about the history, we're talking about our ancestors, we're talking about what's sacred, we're talking about all of that, as above, so below. Our sky has never steered us wrong, and there's not one thing that can spray in our sky. There's not one thing that they can put in our sky that's going to take you away from our map. Praise Allah. And so that's why I say, yeah, it's a whole lot of scriptures that you can align with things with astrology. The Bible is astrology. Your pastor is an astrologer. Your astrologer is a pastor. We reading from the same book. We talking about the same things. We just say it in different ways. And we both trying to set you free in different ways. So that's why I never speak against religion, because I do the same work. It's no different from somebody's pastor. Everything I do when I do somebody's reading, I am reading from a Bible. All is well. And so it's a lot of different ways you can tie that in so that you can make it universal, so we can share that with our children and all of that. God has never steered us wrong, and the universe is all tied together. Okay, and so a lot of people don't realize that, so that's why the confusion is here. But you might hear a lot of Christians or different people speak against astrology, but you'll never hear a lot of astrologers speak against Christianity or other religions, because all of those religions belong to astrology. Okay, so that's why I say I never speak against religion. It's all the same. It's all in one. You're just all doing it in a different way. All as well. And so it takes a level of maturity, and it takes a level of patience, but the conversations can be had, and they will be, and I will be a part of all those conversations in the years to come, because we have to be set free in so many ways. And so even when it comes to slavery and all of those different things, even the slaves was reading the stars. How else did the slaves get set free? A lot of people forget that. It's certain moons that was there when they left. It's certain times that they knew that the water would be moving. They knew when the tide was going to be moving. It's certain times when they knew they was going to have certain light. The drinking gourd, the Little Dipper, the Big Dipper, like, come on, you guys, the stars have always been here. So our ancestors have always used the stars. And so I think a lot of conflict comes in when our oppressors have misled us through the Bible. And so it's a whole lot of different things. I'm not going to get on my soapbox, but I think it's just amazing that a lot of people want to get into astrology and learn about it a little bit more, because I still have the same faith. Nothing really has changed about me from the things that I learned when I was younger. It actually has impacted the things I learned when I was younger even more. So, I don't know, praise Allah. Your attitude changes when you realize everything is everything. The next thing, let me see here. Mercury in Sagittarius, Venus in Capricorn, Mars Scorpio. Oh, Jupiter is in Aquarius, and very soon Jupiter is going to be in Pisces. So this is the last little bit of Jupiter in Aquarius. I had to look at the degree. It's at 25 degrees. And so sooner, like I said, than later, people who have Jupiter in Pisces, this is your year. And so this is your year. It was 12 years ago, the last time Jupiter was in Pisces. And so a lot of people from the past 12 years are about to see some upliftment. I would say, depending on where it is in your chart. Now, the Jupiter in Pisces, when it happens, and that's not far from now, like in the next, let's get up and give it a month. I don't have my calendar in front of me, so I don't want to give a date off the top of my head. But not far from now. I want to say a few weeks. When Jupiter goes into Pisces, a lot of people who smoke, drink under the influence a lot. The Jupiter in Pisces, the universe gonna test you like nobody's business. It's a lot of addictions and a lot of things that people have. And it's not always smoking or drinking or pills or things like that. Whatever it is, your porn, whatever it is that has a hold on you. Whatever it is that you can't live without. Whatever it is that it runs your life. It runs your pockets. It runs everything, okay? The universe is going to test how much you really want everything you want. A lot of people who have major addictions, and it's going to be some things pulled from you. So that's why I say, even if you simply do just smoke a cigarette, alcoholism, whatever it is from the past 12 years, it's going to be a test to, can you stop? Can you stop, and can you open one hand to get one thing and let it get replaced with something else? Can you let the universe in for a second? Can you let God in for a second to put something else in your hand? Is what that Jupiter in Pisces is. Now, this Jupiter in Aquarius, as it's coming out, these last 5 degrees, the universe is asking you the difference. Do you know the knowledge of good and evil? Do you know what a good person looks like? And do you know what an evil person looks like? So that's why I say that with Mars and Scorpio, you guys, it's going to challenge your Jupiter in Aquarius. The people that you know. So like I said, the people that you know who have a lot to do with your bliss and your favor. And then you have rebellious people, haters, people who don't like you at all, who have been interrupting your bliss. So this is why this month is very important, because you need to know who is who. And you need to know who's moving forward with you. So that's why I say that Mars in Scorpio is going to tell you to look in deep within and trust yourself and trust the truth when it comes to people and things. Okay? And as you're doing that Jupiter in Aquarius is going to show you a lot. So the knowledge of good and evil has a whole lot to do with how much confidence you have. And what you see and the people that you attract in the next 30 days is a reflection of who you are. Bullshit people attract bullshit people. Good people attract good people. and you have to be honest with yourself, because you're not always just this good person just attracting all this bullshit. That's a lie. Okay? And so that's why I say the law of attraction is going to be at work for the next 30 days. What you attract to yourself is not a lie. Your magnet, this is the last 30 days of your magnet being at work. So the networking, I will use this last month to network with people, connect with people. Go ahead and give people that, your business card, because for the next year, you're going to get your bliss a different way. So this is why you want to go ahead and get to know people now and know who you know and know who's around you right now. This last 5 degrees of Aquarius, like I said, is going to be the knowledge of good and evil. The universe says, do you know who is who? Do you know what loyalty looks like? Do you know what confidence looks like? Do you know what jealousy looks like? Do you know what a copycat looks like? Which is why I made a post about that the other day. And I want to say this before I even go, because I'm going to go soon. Anybody who has an issue when I or anybody else mentions a copycat, they tell on themselves, okay? Copycats have an issue with somebody calling them out. It takes a lot of work to be original. It takes a lot for you to project and give the world something that you created, whether it's a book, it's an art, or anything like that. Lazy people, which is why at the solar plexus chakra, and this is also why it's also a sin and it's a violation to not use your solar plexus, because lazy people will copy somebody else's work. Lazy people will copy and paste somebody else's post. Lazy people will take somebody else's idea or concept and make it as their own and sign their name on it. That is a violation. So the people who be like, oh, everything is everything and ain't nothing new under the sun, for one, that is bullshit. No, it's nothing new under the sun, but it's bullshit that when an ancestor or when an entity or an energy that you've absorbed comes through you and says, I want you to do it and I want it to come through you again the way you do it, that is a gift. That's why it's called a gift. When somebody pulls you to the side, when you have an awakening, when spirit comes to you and brings something through you and somebody else takes it. It's like trying to take somebody else's baby. People who say everything is everything and stuff like that don't matter, they telling themselves those are the people who steal, because that's a gaslight. And I'm saying that. Anybody who steals from you and say, it don't matter, we all the same anyway. That's a gaslight. They're gaslighting you and they're conditioning you to let you know they're going to steal your shit some more. Okay? And so you pay attention to that, because it's a lot for you to be able to be creative. And that's what I'm saying. It's a violation, and it's also talking about sloth. This is why it's a sin, because it's being lazy to sit back and let somebody else do work and put your name on it. And so a lot of people, like I say, don't think that's a serious thing, but this is why you can get sued for it. And that's why copyright and all that is vital. If that wasn't something that is a violation, it wouldn't be a law. All right. And it wouldn't be something that can be seriously enforced, but it's a law. It's a spiritual law. So that's why I'm talking about the law of attraction and the law of cause and effect. What you attract, you can attract people with something you're doing. The cause and effects are either you're going to inspire somebody or you're going to get a hater. There's cause and effects of everything. And so a lot of people be like, stuff like that don't matter. Like I say, they telling yourself that people who say certain things don't matter are gaslighting you, especially to things that very much matter. So I say that because it has a lot to do with your Jupiter and Aquarius. Aquarius is where you are different, where you are unique, where you stand out. And the Jupiter and Aquarius is you being awarded and you really getting your bliss for standing out and taking on what your gift is and really riding your ride and really letting the universe just show you what you can do. So all of those things, like I said, are going to change. So that's why we have to be honest about what we see. Neptune is no longer retrograding. So now we can really, feel the feels and trust ourselves, our intuition, and our magic when it comes to people. You want to align yourself with people who are just as magic as you are. You want to align yourself with people who don't feel like you cut their lights off. Okay? You are the light. We all are the light. And anybody who can't be in your space and feel like all of a sudden it's dimmer, right? Or that they are dimmer because you are around, you don't need them around. And I'm saying that now because we are still planets. You want to be in the environment that your planet can thrive in. You don't want to have another planet in your environment that can be detrimental to you. So that's why I say if you don't look at yourself as a person, look at yourself as a planet. You're still an energy. You don't want anything in your orbit that can be detrimental to you. So all is well. All is well. And that's a part of our shadow work with the Jupiter and Aquarius before it transits to Pisces. Okay, so I'm glad I got all my regular conversation out the way first, because now I'm like completely getting into like the astrology part of it, and I'm actually about to end this live though. But thank you guys for watching. I had wrote down all my notes and everything I wanted to talk about. I'm about to do other videos that's not about astrology, because I talk about other things on my Bigo and also on my TikTok. On my TikTok, I talk about a lot of like deeper, more in-depth things. Astrology is like the astrology, that's everything, but that's always going to be something I talk about. But like the psychology of things, more so shadow work, understanding what your light work even is. A lot of people spend so much time talking about shadow work. Now light work is not getting enough attention, and so I want to get more into talking about light work. And not everybody needs shadow work. A lot of people need to spend more time on their light work. A lot of people have spent enough time in the shadows. You need to understand what your bliss looks like. You're comfortable with your pain. Be comfortable with your bliss. Wear it like jewelry. Be happy. And a lot of us, like I say, haven't even been able to experience our happiness. We don't even know what our real laugh looks like, our real smile looks like. We don't know any of those things. And some of us are still in the same environment that has taken away our smile in the first place. So if you can't uproot yourself, that's why I say at least right now create your plan. Okay, Scorpio was a whole of it all, right? You were in a dark place. You were either being born again during Scorpio season, or you might have felt trapped during Scorpio season. All is well. This is why you are born, all right, during Sagittarius season, all right? And during Sagittarius season, that's why I say you write down what you want, your list, you're doing your vision boards, all of those things, because Sagittarius is saying you can open your eyes now. Your eyes was closed during Scorpio. They was clenched tight during Scorpio. There was a lot of pain. A lot of people were experiencing death from their family members. A lot of people may have lost jobs, money, a lot of those things during Scorpio season. Now the universe is telling you to stretch. There's about to be a spiritual marathon. I'm going to need you to be ready. Okay, and it's going to be a 6-month thing. And you want to be able to land your plane around the summertime. That's why the people and things you're connecting to this month are going to be very vital for over your summer. Pay attention to that. The things that are going on in your relationships this month, very vital. So if you end in a relationship, the remnants of it won't going to be completely over until next summer, depending on how you're cutting somebody off or ending things. If you're not committed to a job or a person right now, this is the time where you might want to go ahead and start leaving, because like I said, people are either going to get broken up with or fired, or you might even decide to quit or whatever in the next few weeks. It's inevitable. That's going to take place with a lot of people. There are a lot of unpredictable things that's going to be taking place towards people's pocketbooks and their lovers. Trust me. Well, don't trust me, trust you. Trust yourself and you know your life. Apply what I'm saying to your life. Last thing I wanted to get into was that full moon, which I'm going to do a whole nother video. The full moon in Gemini is going to bring a lot of attention to what you might, like I say, still need work on, or what very, very much is aligning you with your bliss. If you have done your shadow work, this full moon in Gemini is straight A's. Oh my goodness, baby. You made it. Okay. And I can't wait to be there to hear people talk about it or like put it in my comments. A lot of times, because a lot of the stuff that I talk about is so private, a lot of people just inbox me, and that's fine too. But I just be wanting to share like some people's testimonies and the things they tell me. But it's personal, it's personal, but all is well. That full moon in Gemini is going to align a lot of people, especially like if you have it in the 10th house. Yes, your career, that's what you want. In the 7th house, yeah. Okay, this is somebody you want to talk to, somebody you might already have been talking to. Okay, let's talk about the future. Okay, 1st house. Okay, you're learning a lot more about yourself. You find a lot of comfort around that time frame. It might be distance in your relationship. If you have Gemini in the first house, a lot of people might be in a long distance relationship, or somebody that lives out of town right now that you're thinking about. You know, all of those things. That might be your moment with that full moon in Gemini, for you guys to decide, yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to make it work or not. And so all is well. Remember, Sagittarius is the wandering eye of the zodiac as well. So people who have Venus in Sagittarius, Mercury in Sagittarius, all of those different things. Let me see, Jupiter in Sagittarius, they get bored quick. So that's another reason why you have to feed them. If you are with the Sagittarius, and if you are a Sagittarius, you know I'm not lying. Sagittarius is the buffet. So when I say Geminis and Sagittarius like to be at the buffet of life, Sagittarius is the damn buffet. But they like choices and they like options, even when they've already ordered their food. So Sagittarius might have a wife, a husband, a spouse. Their food is right in front of them. Sagittarius still looking at everybody else's plate. And so, and they like to gamble. They take a chance. They gonna get a peek. They might even get a reach. So Sagittarius got big, long arms, feet, you know, all those things that can get around stuff. And when they, like I say, their appetite is big, so they want what they want, and they want it right now. A lot of Sagittarius, Aries, and Leos, they don't like the word no. And so when you're dealing with a fire sign and you're talking about the word no, a lot of times there's drama that's going to come behind it. Or, like I say, with a Sagittarius, there's some type of plot later, because they're still related to Scorpio. So even though they're not a water sign, a Sagittarius can still move like that. And that's why I say they're just not as sneaky as a Scorpio. Sagittarius still has pride, so they want you to know they did it. They just plotted it out long enough to get you, you know. All is well. When is the full moon in Gemini? And the full moon in Gemini is, I want to say, the full moon in Gemini is December, I want to say 18th, 19th, and 20th. Do not quote me on that. I might be saying, I think it is the 18th, 19th, and 20th. Yeah, full moon in Gemini. On Geminis, your shadow work. So Geminis, you have homework for the next couple of weeks. Geminis and Virgos. The next couple of weeks, crossing your T's, dotting your I's, and being very careful. Learning when to be quiet and when to speak up. All of those things. If you can get around all of that, and if you can get your words out without being too upset. So not being an emotional Gemini, because that full moon in Gemini can make Geminis more emotional than they normally are. Gemini is an air sign, so we're intellectual. So we're not all in our feelings, just like a Sagittarius is not all in theirs. However, when the moon is there, these are conversations, these are emotional conversations, or you're trying to cultivate an understanding with that. So they can take a Gemini out of the air, and now you're pulling them into water. Now you're making them their eyes water. Now you got a Gemini a little bit sometimes more nervous than they normally would be. However, there are some Geminis that might be more poetic. So it depends on how aligned you are, and it depends on where you have it at in your chart and everything. The rush of energy, if you are a Gemini, that's that Mercury and Sagittarius. And that's why I say it can be detrimental, because it has you all over the place. It's the ADHD of it all. It's the I can't keep up with myself of it all. It's the twins going two different directions of it all with that Mercury and Sagittarius for a Gemini. That also adds to the anxiety of a Virgo. A Virgo might be biting on their nails way more than they normally do, twisting on their hair way more than they normally do, chewing on straws, smoking more than they normally do. Geminis and Virgos and Cancers can have a mouth fixation. When they're nervous, when they don't have control over a situation, when they don't know everything, when they're not the one providing the information or doing something, when they got to sit back and be in waiting mode. Geminis, Virgos, Cancers, they will pull their fucking hair out. Nails be gone, like their nails be nubs. They smoke freaking Newport 100s, the Cadillacs. I ain't talking about them shorts. I'm talking about you get a Virgo or a Gemini stressed out, they smoke the 100 packs. Blunt after blunt after blunt, drink after drink after drink, because they're trying to calm down the chattering inside of them. That's why I say Geminis, really understand yourself. All of us need to understand ourselves, but Geminis really do swing from different poles, but not in a bipolar type way. Let's be very clear. the poles of the emotions and of the logic. That there's a logical twin, there's an emotional twin, and really this is for everybody. You don't have to be a sun sign Gemini to catch this vibe right now. You catch this vibe. You can anybody, because wherever you have it at, you still have to understand why you might swing from different poles. Your spirit and your mind can have conflict, believe it or not. Now your spirit runs the show, however your mind adds in ideas, and your mind is not always right. Your spirit can see, feel, be things, and fit places that your mind cannot. Okay, and that's why your mind can have a limit to it. Your spirit does not. That's why when you want something or you'll think about things you want, there'll be a limit somewhere in mind. That's like, oh, that's not possible. Only your mind said that. Your spirit never told you that wasn't possible. So that's the difference when you're talking about your logical self and when you're talking about your emotional self, your spiritual self. Your logical self will say what makes sense. Your spiritual self will say, oh, I don't know. So that's why you'll have conflict. So a lot of Geminis, watch this, Geminis, your intellect challenges your emotions. Your emotions challenge your intellect. That's what happens. You're in conflict a lot. This is why Geminis can do a lot of stuttering, or a lot of people will say that we're liars. Now I ain't saying I don't lie. I ain't saying I ain't said a fib or two. However, we go in and out of ourselves. So that's why a Gemini can forget something they said, or they won't complete a thought and they'll start another conversation and you'll swear you caught them in a lie or be like, oh, I thought you said this. They did say that. Which twin was you talking to? Literally, who was you talking to at the moment? Sometimes it really is that. So sometimes we just forget where we at, what we doing, and sometimes we was speaking through the spirit. Sometimes we just talking out of our head. So it can be one or the other when you're talking about a Gemini. Oh, I'm a Gemini too. And that's why I say that. And I've definitely found my gem. So I've really learned how to, like I say, I straddle the fence with a whole lot of things. But I have definitely learned to let the twins hold hands. I don't let them fight. I don't like to be in conflict with myself, which is why, like during the retrograde and things like that, I don't post a lot. I'm not live a lot. My twins taking a nap during retrogrades, because I do. I'm very smart. I know a lot of things. I can make sense of a lot. I love science, right? However, my spirit overrides a lot of things that I can measure out. And that's why I say I'll be at conflict with myself, but I've learned to not do that. At the end of the day, anything the spirit wants me to measure up, count up, I do it when spirit tell me to. I don't spend a whole lot of time thinking because it takes away from my happiness. It takes away from my right now. It takes away from my children. It takes away from all the beautiful things that are going on in my life when I think too much. And so I always say thinking takes away from the love. So, love is the breath. So that's what I'm saying. Too much thinking takes away from your proper breathing. You're not breathing properly when you're too much in thought. And I love spirit and breath so much that I don't got to think. I think about something when spirit say, hey, remember that time? That's when I will ponder upon something. But other than that, I try not to spend a lot of time thinking. And so I'm just saying that to you as a Gemini. You don't want to lose your mind. You want to gain your God. You want to gain your God, and you want more and more of your God every day. And so I know what it's like to be a nervous wreck and be like all over the place with your thoughts. And if you said, I think you said you was with a Virgo. See, like that's a whole nervous wreck, like waiting to happen, because a Gemini and a Virgo together. I dated a Virgo. I have a child with a Virgo, and you talking about a nervous wreck? Man, me and him used to smoke so much weed because there was so much anxiety in that relationship, y'all. Lord. I'm about to do the ugly cry. Yeah. It was just too much worrying and overthinking. And I did a lot of talking and he did a lot of thinking. Like we was a ball of nerves in that relationship. Man. God rest his soul. He's not with us anymore, but man, me and that damn Virgo, we used to smoke and stress and worry, and things used to always still work out. And so that's another reason why I say don't overthink. Peace and love, Shamika, my little goddess, my little successful little, little thing. Yes, I love to see y'all up in here. Yes. Yeah, Stevie J. Yes, that was my son's father. Peace and love. But yeah, me and him used to argue so much, but we used to have the best conversations, like these conspiracy theories. So that's why I'm like, you get a Gemini and a Virgo together, but we used to sit there and be thinking about the world and the sky, and like we used to have the longest conversations. So peace and love to Steven. But Uranus and Sagittarius. Uranus and Sagittarius, is that your natal placement? That must be your natal placement, because Uranus is in Taurus right now. That was years ago. Okay, that must be a natal placement, because I'm like, when was the last time Uranus was in Sagittarius? That was you in your 30s. That's a natal placement. Uranus in Sagittarius, you got to be at least 34, 35. You got to be at least, yeah, because I'm like Uranus, Sagittarius, Uranus and Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus. This is where that's why I'm like, you ain't old 36. Okay, I'm like, you gotta be at least 34, 35. Okay, I ain't trying to put you out there, but you said Uranus and Sagittarius. Right now with the natal, if your natal Uranus, do you know what house you have it in? If you don't know what house you have it in, it's fine. However, if you do know what house you have it in, that would be very helpful. But if you don't, I would say with that Uranus and Sagittarius, I would say travel. Dang, I can't really say. Do you know what house you have it in? Let's just get into it. Your Uranus and Sagittarius with that natal placement, that's taking chances, all right? Uranus is a planet of risk, taking risks. I would say it's a chance taker as far as a planet. It deals with your miracles, disasters, things that can go very right or wrong. Then you have Sagittarius, which is also a risk-taking sign. So when you have those together, for one, I would tell you to be mindful of your travels. And that's anybody with that Uranus and Sagittarius. But also it's saying that you're willing to take risks when it comes to your higher learning. And that's so fantastic. It says this person is willing to fly. You'll go anywhere for information, which is amazing. Even spiritually, I would say you might get visions, flickers of light. I would say to really empower your visions. I would say your throat chakra, your solar plexus, and your third eye chakra. That would be just amazing. I would say I'll give you a whole recipe, like get you like 700 to like 1,000 hertz, and listen to like that frequency. Get you some, and the reason why I say that, if you plan on traveling, physical travel, I would do that. But also if you are doing spiritual travel. So if you actually are, like I'm saying, being a visionary, you're doing a vision board, things like that. For one, you want protection, but for two, that Uranus and Sagittarius can bring some type of something happening along the way of your trip. I don't know where you have it at, so I can't really tell you where, but changes. It's telling you that you're going to meet new people. You're going to meet new people. You're going to go places. You're going to make some money. You're going to do very, very well. However, it's talking about wherever you're not willing to learn new things, like wherever you're not willing to not move, you're never going to get off your square. You're never going to get off your square. But like I say, wherever you're not willing to build or add on to your square, you're never going to get off your square. You get off your square, you're in violation. You might as well not even be here. You always take your foundation everywhere you go. And so, however, I would say with that Uranus and Sagittarius, you would be a good teacher. I just would need to know where you have it, because I could just say that about anybody right now. See what I'm saying? A lot of us in our 30s have Uranus and Sagittarius in our chart. So wherever you have it at wouldn't matter. However, whatever happened, how many years ago? Whatever happened in the past 7 years with your money, I would say your money has progressed. I would say you have made some mistakes financially. I would say where is Uranus and Taurus at? So we at 11 degrees. I would use, you got 7, cut that up. I would say you have the next like 5 years to change whatever has happened in the past 7 years, because that would be a part of your cycle. Like the past 7 years, I know your money has probably changed. The way you go about money has changed. You probably used to be broke. You probably are having better days or have had better days. You probably learned a whole lot about what finances do. You've probably changed your lifestyle a whole lot. You've met new people. You've done things you've never done before. Maybe been places you've never been before. Some of these places you go are the highlight of your life, are bringing so many opportunities. That also goes back to these people that you've never met, people you probably thought you would never meet. Some of these places you go and the people that you meet are not going to be good. I would say that they're not going to be good, and some of these people are going to interrupt your purpose. So this is why at your throat chakra, being able to have directionality. You know more than me what your natal chart is and like things that have happened when you was younger. But your Uranus and Sagittarius, with Uranus being in Taurus, right now, whatever your insecurities were when you were younger, you have to be a big boy now. Because that's where the things was going to test you at the most. Your insecurities, if there was ever any food insecurities or about money or like where you guys were going to live or anything like that, things like that are going to trigger you. So that's why I say that. With that Uranus and Sagittarius, it's either you was moving around because you had to, or because of the lifestyle, or because your parents had money or something like that. You're going to experience that again, or you may have already as an adult, whether I'm moving around a lot because I have to, or I'm moving around a lot in luxury because I want to. Your alignment. So if you've done your shadow work and you've made peace with where you didn't have money, where y'all was broke, where y'all didn't have it, or things like that, if you've made peace with that, you can turn your corner and you can go back your other 180 degrees. So that's what 360 degrees is, your alignment. You want to go a straight line, 180 degrees from my past. I turn my corner 180 degrees right back the same way I went, but I'm different this time. That's what your alignment is. And a lot of people just circle around. They had a solar return. They had a birthday. The year changes. They didn't change. And so that's why I was like, as soon as you said it, I'm like, Uranus and Sagittarius, you grown. Grown, man. All is well, Tyrone. I haven't even talked to you. Tyrone Session of all things. Tyrone Session, you need a session. You need a session, Tyrone Session. Look, how on time was that? All is well, you guys. My phone is going to die soon. I know this was a long live, but it's the vibes. It's the vibes. It was the vibes. Y'all came in. Y'all came through. Y'all listened. Y'all stayed alert all up and through. Reach out to me if you want a one-on-one session. I'm not about to lie about how often I'm going to start going live again, because I say it every time and I don't. However, I'm not even going to lie. Spirit been talking to me about coming up and showing up every day. And I have my days where I'll be worried about how my hair looks, because a lot of times my hair is wrapped up. A lot of times I don't even have to worry about my appearance. A lot of the stuff that I have to do, I'm on a computer a lot of the times. And so I'm worried about how I look, or I'm worried about how things are going to be. I can be such a perfectionist. And really it's not about that. It's about what I'm going to be saying. It's not about how I look. This ain't matchmaker. Okay. I always say that if my husband watching, if my husband see me on social media, he going to see me how he going to see me. Because at the end of the day, if I have to use my gift, I have to use my gift. And so I have to show up, especially when people inbox me and ask me, when you going live, when you going to share some more information. It's not always about me. And I want to say that before I go. Look, I'm saying like I'm a star. I want to say that before I go. Whatever gift you have, whatever it is that you do, you sing, you do hair, you do nails, you are an athlete, whatever it is, your gift is not just for you. Your gift, of course, was to share, right? When you don't use your gift, you're in violation to the self, but you're also in violation to us. Everybody in trouble. And so I'm learning that more and more. A lot of my shadow work was not showing up when I need to. Not showing up because things not right. Not showing up because my attitude bad. Now I don't want to do a video because I'm so worried about my energy being, coming off Listen, I'm easily read. I'm a reader, but people can read me very easily. Like I said, I have big eyes. I have an open face. I can't very much hide my face expressions. People can read my eyes very well. So that's another reason why I'm like, people can read and they can see right through me when something is wrong, which is why I'm like, well, I'm not going to do a video on these days because people can see it, but those might be the same days y'all might actually need to see it. And those might be the days where I find out something about myself. So just showing up and being real is what we all need to do. Okay, and so that's why I said I'm just going to show up when I can and just show up in my realness. And maybe that will unlock the door for somebody else to come on out and just show up as them. And you don't want to be a disservice to yourself. I would hate for something to happen to one of us and you'd be like, man, did you know she could sing? Did you know she was an artist? Did you know this person could do that? Like, you don't want to lock up your bliss. You don't want to lock up your gifts inside of you. You don't want to die with those things not being used, you know, and that's why a lot of people say I can die happy now. Like, if you're going to die, which you are, do it happily, you know, and so all is well. Peace and love, you guys. I'm going to try to go live more often. I'm so full of shit. I say that all the time, but I'll be with you guys soon. So have a good night.